Hello again, and welcome. This is Michael Pizzolla here, and this is going to be a mini handicapping rant, and I'm going to do it on video this morning. Sitting out here in the patio, of the beautiful Las Vegas Country Club, where we can't really play golf because our greens are closed. Boy, that's a long story. But I want to tell you a story that happened to me yesterday. Today is October 5th as I'm speaking to you, and yesterday was October 4th. And I posted this on the Wizards Forum. The Wizards Forum is for those who have Black Magic, the Ultimate Handicapper program. And it was about, and this is what the Wizards Forum looks like, but it involved a horse yesterday at Keeneland in the Keeneland fifth race. And let me show you what I was looking at when I opened up Black Magic Ultimate Handicapper. And here were my odds line on the horses, and I'll just zoom in on this so you can see it. Um, I was looking at the top horse at 5-1, and it was 2-1 on the morning line, and wound up going off at 8-5, and then the one horse. I looked up the board; he was over 20-1, and 6-1 on my line, and I was wondering, how bad did this horse look? And I just kind of looked at him, and Jay Shepard was riding, and I don't know what that means, uh, but he had a decent race last time. To be honest with you, I didn't even notice. I guess I can notice it now that it was from Zia Park. Well, there you go. And I put a little bet on the horse and put a little exact. Actually, my main exacta plays were 125 and 124. And I had nice exactas and I mean trifectas with those as well. But I happened to be sitting at Racebook, and it just so happens a fellow was there several months ago, maybe over a year ago. He came up to me, introduced himself. He said, "I hear you're Michael Pizzolla." I said, "Yes, yes, yes." And I hear you wrote a book called Handicapping Magic. I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I'd love to read it." And I said, "Well, it's out of print, but I can give you a DVD of it, if you'd like to get that." Or he said, "Well, can you lend me a copy of the book?" So he said, "I don't know how to do DVDs and all of that." So I said, "Yeah, sure." I happen to have an old beat up copy in my car, and I lent it to him. He showed up a few days later, and he said, Michael, um, where was the chapter you had on recency? Where was it? Where did you have the stuff on recency?" And I said, "What chapter on recency?" He said, "Did you leave that out? Did they edit it out?" I said, "No, I don't usually use that because, that's how you get price." And he said, "Oh dear, well, you can't really." Uh, he kind of sighed and he kind of gave me the book back and dismissed it. He said, "You've got a lot to learn, young man." And I said, "Well, I'm sure I do." And that was it. And, it was kind of nice, but I thought, maybe he would say, "Thanks. Boy, I really enjoyed reading your book, and I know it's out of print. I couldn't buy it, and it was free." So anyway, so I'm at the race. I'm at the race book yesterday, minding my own business. I've got my computer set up. I've got my earphones in my ear because I just did it. Well, so happened he was there at the book, and I don't know what or how, but he kind of made some kind of snide comments, and oh boy, and we're watching this race. I'm watching the race on my little monitor. He's watching on his little monitor. And if you come here and see this horse, the 5 horse, and let me just see if I can bring him up for you and see his past performances. Now, he had been off since November. And it was really funny because this fellow who was so big on recency had bet this horse. And you see we have Las Vegas Country Club's right in the um, flight plan, so if you hear the plane overhead, but I just really wanted to show this to you. You see it was kind of an obvious horse. He had just finished second in a Grade 1 stakes, and he was third in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. This is a good racehorse. And as they come down the stretch, he's really yelling for this horse. Now, here's the little horsey that I came up with, Sing Baby Sing. Nice race, second off a lay. A little hard fought, but, heck, at 21-1. And he's yelling, screaming, "Come on with this 5. Come on with this 5." And I couldn't resist. And as I saw the one making a nice move, I started saying, "Sing, baby, sing. Sing, baby, sing.